Let's talk about your price target. Pretty big departure from the rest of your peers and the consensus. You're at 200, doubling your price target on AMD. What led to a call that bold?
Sure. I think the main thing is that, compared to where we were at the beginning of the year, where we got a lot more conservative in terms of the outlook of AMD's AI revenue, we see some changes in the last couple of months that's definitely much more constructive. And I think at the beginning of the year, there was very little visibility. The MI325 chip that they launched in the first quarter wasn't getting quite the feedback we were expecting. But now, as we see the MI355, the feedback's been a lot more positive. And also, we see a big uplift in pricing, much more than we previously expected. And we do see the hyperscalers seem to be interested. So hence, we think there could be a big reversal in terms of the AI revenue for this year. So we now have more than $8 billion in revenues, which is considerably higher than the consensus around 6.
All right, so clearly the landscape has changed. You put out a note back in January where you had a very different take on this company. This reversal of fortunes when it comes to AMD, if you will, is it a read to the broader chip sector? Are there other stocks that you think also are going to be beneficiaries of this increased demand for AI, outside of NVIDIA, of course?
Sure. So you bring up a really interesting point, Frank. I think one thing that often gets lost among investors in general is this idea of the pricing power. Which companies in the supply chain is getting more pricing power. Now, NVIDIA has led that pricing power strategy for the first 2 years of the AI story, the whole AI theme. But I think if you look at going into this year and next year, we're seeing some of the pricing power extend out to other companies. We just talked about AMD seeing a much higher ASP than we expected for this upcoming chip. We also see this trend with the ASIC chip providers. So Broadcom is another company that we see is going to benefit from this. So we recently turned more positive on Broadcom, in large part because of the pricing power and the ASP increase for their chip going forward.
You also mentioned that AMD's non-AI business remains resilient. What exactly are you talking about? We're seeing growth of EVs this year. We're seeing data center demand growth, but I would think that's largely AI chips. Exactly what are you talking about outside of AI?
Sure. I think if you look at the last quarter, they already demonstrated that they were gaining share in the client business, in the overall PC business. Their ASPs went up considerably there. We continue to see them doing well in the traditional core businesses, such as data centers, as well as traditional PCs, despite the overall market not being so strong.
Well, so you're saying data centers are non-AI chips? It's a different type of chip?
Well, there are some traditional data centers that are not so much associated with this AI data center, which is a big part. But I would say, it's really the core business is the client PC, traditional PCs, has also been much stronger than expected because of some of the share gains we're seeing.